Aloha and welcome to Week 5 of CM400C. In today's lecture, I'm going to discuss the topic of designing for clients, developing a design workflow, team, budget, and deliverables that impress. I will provide key information regarding designer expectations of clients and client expectations of designers. So let's get started. When you are designing for clients, you want to have a clear set of goals in mind. Good mobile apps take full advantage of what mobile devices are uniquely great at. By goals and user needs drive the design process. Optimizing for small screens and touch-based interactions. Taking full advantage of device capabilities. Remember that device capabilities on most mobile devices include location services, Bluetooth, beacon technology, front and rear camera, microphone, accelerometer, fingerprint scanner, and of course, tap and gesture recognition. The best way to approach working for clients is making sure that expectations are clearly laid out from the beginning of the contract. My approach to mobile design and development is to give my clients a checklist so they can give me what I need before I start the design process. Most often than not, clients will not know exactly what they will be getting from their designers. After all, they are most likely not designers themselves. With that said, as a designer, you should be able to present clients with a checklist of deliverables they will receive from you, or at least a list to give them an idea, as well as lay out your design process for them. It's important that your client agree to give you a proper starting point before you start working on a design for them. In the next few slides, I will cover some things that you want to get from your clients. Clients should provide the following items to you. This will undoubtedly help you get started. So you should get from your client an executive summary, project timeline, list of deliverables, at least what they think initially, and some background information regarding their app idea. The executive summary should answer the 5 W's: what, who, where, what, and when. Clients will often have an app concept, vision, and users in mind. It's going to be your job to make sure that concept and vision is sound and that they've got the right users in mind. The executive summary can also include program, business, or organizational history and goals. It is important and imperative that you and your client establish a draft project timeline and expectations regarding the timing of your deliverables. It will also be helpful to prioritize deliverables accordingly so that you and your client can get the look and feel of your designs and app flow ideas as soon as possible. This is also a good time to establish your rate as a freelance or a contracted designer. Your contract should also include cost estimates for agreed on deliverables matched up with a timeline. One of the most important things you want to establish with your client before you start working is a communication protocol. If clients do not respond to you, the designer, in a timely manner, it makes it impossible for you to meet your deadlines and move forward in the design process. You will need to clearly establish your expectations of your client's response time within your contract and make sure your client understands that if the communication protocol is not met, you can end the project. One more thing to add is if times that you and your client meet in person or over the phone should also be paid time. Remember that there are 4 distinct phases in the mobile design process. I go into great detail about the MDP in Week 3. Please review each step of that process in the lecture, or you can also refer to the ADP textbook. For the early part of your MDP, Your client will expect to see your results, findings, and ideas. In steps 3 and 4, you will begin to bring the collective vision together in your wireframes and ultimately into your prototype. As a designer working for a new client, you might need more background information, past designs, and/or links to websites or other apps to supplement the executive summary. Background information can really help with designer's block and give you the inspiration you need to move through the MDP. As a professional designer, you want to impress upon your clients that you have a way in which you document your design workflow and MDP or mobile design process. Having a design workflow should allow you to visually track your progress, collaborate with other designers and developers with ease, and share your work progress with your clients in real time. For projects 2 and 3, you will play the role of both the client and the designer to give you a sense of designer expectations and client expectations. As some of you may already know, the mobile design and development process is very collaborative and often requires the design and dev team to work closely with the client. As your instructor, my role will be to guide you through the MDP mobile design process and help prepare you to work in this field if you choose to. Your workflow and plan will seek to inform your project budget, which for many clients is the most important, second to the design. Your final design workflow and plan will inform the budget you will build. We will use a tool called Trello to document your design workflow and MDP or mobile design process. At this time, you may want to pause the video to sign up for a Trello account. After you sign up, unpause the video and I'll walk you through a demo in Trello. Alright guys, welcome to Trello. Go up to this website address here and you want to create a username for yourself and sign up. Feel free to use your hawaii.edu email or your personal email. You want to accept the terms of service and then you want to go ahead and create your account. So this should look familiar once you have signed up for your Trello account. We're going to go ahead and create a new board and we're going to call that the MDP step number 1. And we're going to go ahead and create that board. And so now we're actually in that board and I want us to create 3 lists. So name the first list to do, name the second list doing, and then we want to name the third list done. Alright, we can go ahead and just add a card for fun. So, researching app concept, creating persona. So these would be some of the things that you would be doing as part of mobile design process step number 1. The last thing I want you to do is under the menu, I want you to add me as a member on your board, and you're just going to do that by putting my email address in there. Okay. So go ahead and add me into your board, and then I should get an email letting me know that I am a member of your board. If you have any questions, just feel free to shoot me an email, or I can help you with this, of course, office hours. So I didn't show this slide during the Trello demo, but I just wanted to go over the steps that I went over in that little Trello demo that I just did for you guys. As you already know, it takes a team to build a mobile app. Let's learn more about who your teammates will be when you move into the industry of design. It takes a team to design and develop a mobile app, as you already know. Teams can range in sizes and roles. Some teams can range from 1 developer and 1 designer. Other teams will have several developers and designers working together. Companies might have a full team that has at least one person fulfilling each role in the departments listed in this illustration from your textbook, Interactive Design on page 25. You, the designer, will seek to create a design that is visually appealing to the target users. Developers will realize the design through coding. Project managers, if the team is lucky enough to have one, will make sure the client is happy and that the design and development are completed on time and, of course, on budget. For the purposes of this class, we're going to focus on learning and practicing the roles of project management, user experience and branding, and design. My hope is that this course will help prepare you to enter the field of mobile design with some working knowledge of what to expect when working with clients, other designers, developers, and project managers. By implementing these designer to-dos when working on a team to meet client needs, you will avoid designer pitfalls like avoiding feedback cycles or performing write tests after you've invested too much time in the mobile design process without consulting your client or team. For projects number 2 and 3, I will serve as your project manager. As your project manager, I will walk you through this list of designer to-dos. The budget becomes the work contract that you sign off on. You, the client, and the project manager will review the document together and agree on it before the start of the project. In order to start a budget, mobile designers need to know what deliverables are expected of them. The mobile design process lays out deliverables for each step in the MDP. In step number 1, you will be able to tell your client that you will have the following deliverables completed for them. Let's take a closer look at the features and functionality in the next slide to get a better idea of what they are. You want to familiarize yourself with the phrasing and terminology of the description of different features and functions. It's good to keep your descriptions to no more than 2 to 3 words. During step number 1 of the MDP, it's okay to have a lot on your list. As you move through this process with both the client and designer hat on, you will begin to filter through this list and reduce it. Please note, this illustration is from the ID textbook on page 48 if you want to get a closer look. In this lecture, I give you a list of deliverables for each step of the MDP process. Each of you will create your own project budget and decide how you would like to display it. Time to do some research. If you remember from week 3 lecture, during this phase, you are gearing up to answer the following questions. What are you competing for? Time, money, loyalty, entertainment? Generate a list of different options users currently have. Answer the following questions for each app on your list. What works about the app? What doesn't? What's their unique technique? What do they do the same as every other app does? You'll want to impress your client with your research to show that you understand the use of design in the apps that may be familiar to their app concept and vision. More importantly, you want to find the white space for your client. While finalizing user personas, you will create user scenarios and flows for each persona. By the end of MDP step number 2, you will be creating the final app vision. In project number 3, you will focus on drafting your second set of wireframes after performing a write study, and you will take your draft wireframes from a hand-sketched version to a digital version using your own design tools or with introduced wireframing applications. During step number 4, you have worked with your client, reviewed every deliverable you submitted for steps 1, 2, and 3. Now you are in the visual design process. Here you polish your wireframes by adding in your rendered graphics for your screens, buttons, and other UI elements. You submit your graphic renderings for the app icon and other requested layouts and revisions. Lastly, you bring it all to life in your prototype. As you move through the 4 steps of the mobile design process to conceptualize and create your mobile app design, you will have deliverables at every stage of the process, as outlined in the previous slides. It's good to lay out your work plan budget early on so that you can stay focused on all the deliverables that you will be held accountable for. These deliverables will span over project number 2 and project number 3. In the upcoming slides, I'm going to show you previous deliverables from a former student in this class so that you can get a sense of what your final deliverables should look like. For project number 3, you will be submitting the following deliverables for the visual design of your app idea. Your deliverables will include the following listed here. Here's an example of a polished wireframe. Remember, as a designer, you will want to begin with hand-sketched wireframes and eventually create digital wireframes for your client to review. As the designer, you will also play a role in branding the app. You will choose a color palette for your app that reflects your brand, as well as provide a mock-up for your client to review. The app icon is the first time the user sees your design. I will provide some tips and best practices for app icon design in a future lecture. The home screen is so important because it invites the user into the app. Your goal here is to give your user a clear understanding of the app's goal, while also giving them a clear way to navigate through your app. Pictures speak to us. Give your users an insight into each section of the app via a clear and informational graphic. Lastly, in MDP Step 4, in the final project for this class, each of you will create a prototype of your mobile app design. This will enable you to give you the opportunity to create a high-fidelity prototype that will allow you to share interactive prototypes with your clients, team, friends, and other students and colleagues. Well, I hope you took away a lot from this lecture. We're going to be really moving into the project work in the next few weeks here, and that's where your focus is going to be for the rest of the course. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at any time. I look forward to working with you on your mobile app design and ideas. Have a great week, and aloha.